Yes, people, welcome back to the 1894 for a brand new video. Now today, as we have a very special guest, and he'll talk now in a sec, we want to do a bit of a transfer roundup. There's quite a few big things going on in the world of Manchester City right now. No big sources really talking about these things, but as fans, we like to get involved in these rumours, and I thought there was no better man to talk to me about these rumours than the big LB from City Extra, making his debut on the channel. Well, kind of debut. You're on a video a while ago, a montage kind of video, but it's the first time we get to sit down and have a chat. What are you saying, bro?
Yeah, I'm good, bro. I'm good. Thanks for inviting me on, man. I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, you've been absolutely killing it over on City Extra. I was just watching some of your streams there, and the big Steve show and all that. It's great content. Listen, we want to get your opinions on some of these rumours because I think the City fan base is getting a bit excited. Obviously, we've just said goodbye to Raheem Sterling. Some people calling him a club legend. He's definitely well up there, and he's going to be missed. And the word was we were not going to sign anybody new. We were just going to allow Cole Palmer to step up and kind of become that right-wing sort of extra man who will get more game time. But on this Blue Moon forum, now I'll be honest, people, I'm not very involved in the Blue Moon forum. I don't pay a huge amount of attention to it, but it's a bit of a rumour mill. And there's some people, definitely is some people in there who know their stuff, and they might have connections. So I'm not going to discredit anybody. But this guy, 9320 Blue, who he claims, and some people have said that he has got stuff right in the past before anybody else and that kind of thing. He has come out with a bit of a, what some people might call a bombazzo last night. He says, I can't believe what I've seen or I've been told tonight. Expect big fireworks. There's a reason we've let so many go. My God, we've only gone and blown the bloody doors off. If this guy was a hype man, he'd be doing a very good job, Lewis. First of all, when you read this, what was the first name that came to your mind? What could City possibly do to bloody blow the doors off?
Difficult, bro, to be honest with you. For me, probably Messi. Messi is probably the only one that, when I first read it, I was like, yeah, this has to be Messi, man. I don't really see who else it could be, you know what I mean, to blow the doors off. And it's not going to be a defender, it's not going to be a midfielder. You don't say that sort of stuff about them positions. So I was thinking Messi, bro, when I first seen it.
I think the conclusion I came to personally was Neymar, based off recent reports. Before his contract, his original contract at PSG had rolled into his new one, the word was that he was going to have an automatic rolling contract into a 5-year extension. The word was he was unsettled, and I can kind of understand that from his perspective a little bit. Obviously, he's a big player, he's got a big ego, and PSG essentially have just been taken over by Kylian Mbappe. Does it make sense that Neymar wants out from PSG? Yes. Do you think it makes sense for City to sign Neymar?
That's a good question, man.
I've seen you tweeting about this. I think you're a little bit excited.
Yeah, I'm excited, but that wasn't the question. The question was, does it make sense for City to sign him? So, look, I think right now we've lost Jesus, we've lost Sterling. I think we're a little bit light up there, personally, just a little bit. So I do think that we should sign someone. I thought we should have tried and get Gnabry. Obviously, he's just signed a new deal now with Bayern, so he's staying there, he's staying put, but yeah, the answer to the question is if we can get the finances right on this, get the fee in, and get a good transfer fee, get a good wage structure in place, I don't see why not. I think it makes sense to do the deal, bro. And I know you want to come on to this another time, but if Bernardo ends up leaving, then I definitely think it makes sense. So yeah, at the moment, I think it's something that City should be looking at.
I think Pep, or we know Pep, is someone who is a massive believer in everybody being on the same wavelength in the dressing room. He doesn't like a dynamic where someone feels they're more important than the rest of the dressing room. He likes everyone to feel like they're all part of a unit rather than a one-man team, or like I said, someone's better than the rest. Do you think Neymar, at the age of, 31, has the capabilities to come into this dressing room alongside De Bruyne and Haaland and already massive names in world football and just agree that he's not bigger than the rest? And of course, like you said, the wage cut would have to be a thing. I don't think City would be willing anywhere near to go near his 700 grand a week.
No, I don't get this whole thing about like the whole getting on with each other and that. Like at the end of the day, these players want to win trophies. You know what I mean? They want to win Premier Leagues, they want to win Champions Leagues, and people didn't really say this about Haaland, but Haaland's a bit of an edgy guy. You know what I mean? You've seen him in his interviews, you've seen the way he speaks, you've seen him telling players that they must pass to him when he's in a good position. He demands stuff all the time. Yeah. We just sort of forget that. People forget about also his wages, how much he's getting paid. He's 21 years old, 22 years old, whatever he is. He's one of the highest paid players at the football club, if not the highest paid player. He's just got a load of cash on the signing-on bonus. His dad's just been paid a wedge. His agent's just been paid a wedge. But again, we conveniently forget all that when it's Haaland because he's our boy. But when it's Neymar, oh, no, we don't do that. And then people talking about we'll have to change the style of play with Neymar. We'll have to change our style of play with Haaland as well. So, again, for me, I feel like some people are a little bit hypocritical on this. We can accept it for Haaland, but we can't accept it for Neymar. So, yeah, I don't really buy into all that. I mean, I think Neymar's a quality player, and I think Pep Guardiola can get the best out of him. And if he can get the best out of him, he's top 5 players in the world.
Yeah, Pep is one of Pep's best features and his best personality traits is that he's fantastic at man managing. And I don't think City would go in for him if that was a thing. I read today that there's stuff going on in the CFA. There's a lot happening, and the ITKs are all coming out. And if there's truth to that, that Pep has given the green light, or Pep has decided he might like Neymar, it's probably on the basis that he feels he can, work with Neymar and incorporate him into his squad successfully. But something a little curveball maybe to think about in this conversation is the fact that within the next 48 hours, we've got news that Riyad Mahrez is going to sign a contract extension. Is it worth thinking about? Would Riyad Mahrez agree to a contract extension if they had told him we're going to pursue Neymar?
Yeah, I do, because Riyad's only got 1 year left on his contract. City want to keep him. He's happy here. Obviously, I think he's just had a kid as well, hasn't he? You know what I mean? So I think he's happy here. You know what I mean? I think he'll chill. And I don't think Neymar will necessarily play on that right-hand side. I think he'll actually be looking at the left-hand side, which is why I was saying that if Bernardo ends up leaving, this deal could pick up pace, because then you might see Phil Foden or Grealish permanently be moved into the midfield. The other person left wing with Neymar, right wing, you could have Mahrez, Palmer, Foden, or even Neymar could play on that right wing as well. So I don't think Mahrez has got anything to worry about, bro, to be honest. Like, we play 60 games a season. You know what I mean? Everyone gets game time.
Yeah, we know from experience that when you're fighting on all 4 fronts, which Pep wants to do, and we want to do every single season, squad depth is absolutely imperative. You know, you have to have multiple players in each position if you want to compete. I mean, I think we saw it a little bit towards the end of last season when we were getting a little bit nervous, a little bit shaky. You know, the draw at West Ham, a couple of points dropped here and there, poor performances when there was no Diaz, there was no Stones, and there was other players picking up injuries. Our lack of depth in that period, I think, showed, and that's possibly what can let us down in the future. But listen, Neymar to City, it's one to keep an eye on. Maybe, like I said, no one of any real note has spoken about it yet, but there's ITKs talking about it on Twitter, and the Blue Moon Forum is popping off about it. But listen, keep an eye on that. Get down in the comments below and give your thoughts. Would you have Neymar at City? I think it's an interesting topic. People have got different opinions. I saw on our own personal Twitters that a lot of people aren't up for the idea, but Lewis seems to be open to it, and I think I'm open to it too as well. Listen, you touched on it, some news that kind of broke this morning out of Spain. The Spanish journalists have been at this a lot for months, Lewis. They've been talking about what players Barca are going to sign, how much money Barca are going to spend, and a lot of us are sitting here saying where Barca finding this money from. But the latest one, which they kind of talked about for months, like I said, is once again Bernardo Silva. United obviously pursuing Frankie de Jong, and if de Jong is to leave Barca, they seem to identify Bernardo Silva as their replacement. According to Gerard Romero, he says Barcelona, Jorge Mendes and Manchester City have agreed on a price of less than €80 million for Bernardo Silva. Now, there is more to this that came out a little bit later from Graham Bailey, but when you saw this, Lewis, what did you think? I won't lie, my heart sank a little bit.
Called BS, to be honest with you. I don't think that has happened, but it could be true, because we know Bernardo Silva wants to leave City. We know he probably wants to go to Spain, and yeah, you know, it could be true. If I had to guess, I don't think it is. I think it's probably BS, and I think it's probably propaganda on the part of the Spanish guys. But it could be true, and that's the slightly worrying thing about it. Now, I do have to sort of just say, you know, we don't have to crap ourselves if he does leave. We still have a brilliant squad, you know what I mean? We've still got Kevin De Bruyne, Gundogan, Foden. Obviously, Grealish can play in that position as well. And, you know, there'll be guys in the academy like McAtee, and Palmer can even play in the midfield as well in that sort of position. So I don't think we need to, you know, start worrying majorly. But obviously, it's going to happen at some point. Bernardo is going to leave, whether it's this season or next season. We'll have to wait and see. But I don't know, man. We'll have to wait to see if any of the English journalists get on this, but it could be true. I don't think it is, but it could be true.
Well, it's funny you say that, because Graham Bailey, who I'm pretty sure is an English journalist, isn't he? Name like Graham Bailey, I'd assume he is. He came out not long after that Gerard Romero report, and he said Man City have dismissed talk that a deal is in place to sell Bernardo Silva to Barcelona. Sources close to City have said there is no deal or agreement for Silva to leave. And then, of course, there was other people saying that Bernardo has no intentions of leaving. He sees or he wants to fulfill his contract until 2025. But listen, the Gerard Romero thing scared me a little bit, because I get what you're saying about all these players we have in those positions, but there's something a little bit different about Bernardo Silva for me, and I'd like to get your thoughts. I said this in a video recently. I firmly believe there's no other player in the world can bring to our system and our team right now what Bernardo does. He's such a unique player, and with such unique assets and abilities that, particularly for our system, I can't see anybody, even in our current squad, slotting into that role. When Gundogan slots into that role, yes, he does a great job, but he offers very different things. It's more composure and technique and the ability to calm everyone down and keep possession and move it around. Whereas Bernardo is this out-and-out energy bundle, Duracell bunny, I call him, who'll press and get in your face and can score goals, and he's been magnificent for years. I don't know what you think about that. I think he's a one-off player, Bernardo, which is why I would be a bit fearful of losing him.
Yeah, I agree with everything you're saying, bro. You know, he is sick in that. I mean, we want to keep him, but, you know, we've lost David Silva, we were fine. Lost Company, we were shit for a year, but then we were fine. Lost Hart, you know, we've lost Aguero, we're going to be fine. Bernardo Silva leaves, we'll be fine. We've got players that can come in. Obviously, we've been linked with Jude Bellingham. I reckon that'll happen next season. So, you know, we've been through this before. We know what it's like. We've experienced it before with big players leaving, and we've always come through on the other side and been just fine. So, I'm not dismissing anything you're saying, bro. Like, we've been through this before, and we know that we'll be fine if he does leave. So, look, fingers crossed he doesn't. We'll have to wait and see if he does. But we've got players in there that can step in, and maybe they will dip themselves back into the market. You know, who knows? It's not over until it's over.
I think I've seen a lot of people panicking a little bit over players outgoings. You know, we've lost Erling and Jesus, and the next people I want to talk about is two other players who are tipped to leave. The first we'll do is Ake, because it's looking like that's broken down. Ake to Chelsea seem to be something that was imminent at one point last week or in the last few days. And then Chelsea went and got Koulibaly, and then now I think they're linked with Kimpembe or maybe some other centre halves, and the interest in Ake has possibly died down. I felt, and we did a video on Ake, I said it would be not disastrous, but it would be a big blow for us because he is such a fantastic squad player. What are your thoughts on the Nathan Ake situation?
I called it 2 days ago. I say, well, I don't think he'll go, because as soon as I seen that they were linked with Koulibaly and Kimpembe, I thought, no, Ake won't want that, because the only reason Ake would leave City is to play regular first team football, week in, week out. Because if he's not, what's the point in leaving? You might as well just stay at City. So I called it 2 days ago, and lo and behold, today he's come out and he's staying. So look, I'm buzzing for it. I think Ake's a brilliant player. Still young, he's 27, still got his peak ahead of him, and yeah, I just great news. Great news.
I think he had a bit of a breakthrough season this season, Ake. Obviously, in his first season, he didn't see a kind of football, and then through injury crisis and that squad depth I was talking about, we needed to rely on it, and we needed the players who don't play every week to step up and put on a shift. And I think that's something Nathan Ake did, and he's kind of proved himself as an asset that we shouldn't be letting go on the cheap. Because I was a bit disappointed when I saw the figures thrown around, 45 million for Ake, and I know we paid 40 for him, and you know, profit and that kind of thing.
Yeah, me too. I agree. I thought the figures that were being floated around, man, they were too cheap. I wouldn't sell him for less than 60 million per se. I think that's what he's worth.
That's exactly what I said. I said on a video, and people kind of said to me, he's not worth 60 million. I said, well, he's only worth what he is to the squad. What he brings to your squad is what he's worth, and he is worth 60 million, because players like John Stones and Ruben Diaz and even Laporte, since they've all been at the club, they haven't been players that can play 50, 60 games. You wouldn't expect any player to have to play 50, 60 games. And Ake is a fantastic cover first thought as well. But listen, it looks like as it stands that we're going to hold on to him, and I think that's quite important, because you need at least three if you want to challenge on all four fronts. I think 3 world-class centre halves, which you do, and then at least 1, if not 2, competent centre halves who can stand in and replace them and give backup. But the other player who was tipped to leave as of recently is Zinchenko. Alexander Zinchenko was tipped to possibly go to Arsenal. Arteta's dipped back into our squad for reinforcements for his own. I think it makes sense. I really like Zinchenko. I would never want to see him go. He's another one of those players that's great to have in the dressing room. But if we are really pursuing Cucurella, you can understand, Lewis, why Zinchenko will want to say, listen, my time here is probably up. I'm getting older now. I need that regular game time.
Correct, yeah. He didn't play much last season. If we're getting Cucurella, which yes, we are going to get him if Zinchenko's on his way out. Zinchenko's not going to play, man, because he's going to have Cucurella ahead of him and Cancelo ahead of him in that left back spot. So his game time's going to be extremely limited. And you know what? 35 million, I think that's a really fair fee. Top player, been around the squad for a long time, played big games. So this is a good deal all round. Arsenal getting a good player with a good age, obviously, still got lots of years ahead of him. And so you're getting a really, really good transfer fee. I thought 35 million. Our sales this summer have been really, really good. I think 35 million for Zinchenko, that's top end. I really think that's top end for him. So, yeah, congratulations, Tiki. He's done a madness there.
I think Zinchenko deserves it, and I really would wish him well. And I think he's going to a good club in Arsenal. I like Arsenal Football Club. I like Arteta, and I wish them to the best. Not to the point where it's affecting us, but I'd like to see Jesus and Zinchenko and Arteta do well. You know, they've done bits for our club when they're around. But just really quickly on the Cucurella thing, I think it's interesting. I've not seen a huge amount of him. I'd like to know have you and what you think about him. But from what I've heard, he would offer us a different option at left back. He'd be the polar opposite sort of thing to Cancelo, a more defensive-minded left back. And how do you feel about that?
Well, funny enough, whenever I've seen him, he's been flying up and down the wings. So, yeah, I mean, it's kind of interesting, but I like him. I think he's a good-looking player. If you look at his sort of career path, I think he has all the hallmarks of being a top-class player. I think he moved to Barcelona when he was like 14, 15 from across the road, Espanyol, I think he was at. Yeah, he played in La Liga. He made a couple of appearances, I think, for Spain. Smashed it first year at Brighton. They could have flopped, but he didn't. He did really, really well. He has all the hallmarks of being a top player. So on one hand, I do think 50 million is dear. But on the other hand, I think Brighton know that they've got a really, really talented player. He's got a big contract. I think 2026 is when it ends. So they're in the negotiating strong point, Brighton. So I think this deal will go ahead. And I think it will probably be for the top end. I think we will be paying around 50 million. I know City probably don't want to, but I think they know that this guy has the ability to go all the way to the top.
See, I didn't even know from what you said there that he's quite an attacking left back. From my understanding, I thought he was. But I think the thing with this deal is Pep and the club are thinking long term. I think they're not just thinking about what he can offer right now and come to the and straight into the team, which obviously is a thing. My hunch is, and I'd like to get your thoughts, is that they're thinking about when Kyle Walker can't play anymore. Is the natural progression that they'll tell Cucurella, learn for a year to adapt to Pep's system the way every player has to. And then when Kyle Walker hits 33, 34, 35 kind of age, he's getting on. He's not young anymore. Cancelo will then slot into that right back role, which is obviously his natural position. And then does Cucurella take over that left back role as his own?
After that, I think they'll be telling Cucurella, go and get the position of Cancelo, because Cancelo's prone to a few dodgy defensive issues that we've seen plenty of times this season. Liverpool away, Tottenham at home springs to mind, lapsing concentration, poor decision making. And I think Cucurella could get himself into that first team and really hold it down. So I don't think he's just going to be there to make up the numbers on the bench. I do think that he's going to be there to really push Cancelo, and I think that he could potentially get that spot off Cancelo. But you are right to say long term, and this is what I'm saying, I think he has all the hallmarks of a top player in a couple of years' time. You only have to go on transfer marks, bro, and look at his career path. If you're playing for Barcelona, man, at like 15, and then they keep you until the 20 and then let you go, you're a good player. He smashed it. His first season in England, he did really, really well, killed it, and then he's being moved to Man City. Like, come on, man! Like, you've got to take note of what the scouts are seeing here. This guy's a top player. He will be a top player in a few years' time, and this is why we're going to have to pay the big money. Look, I think 50 million is overpriced, but I guess part of that is valuing what you're going to get from him in the future, and I think it could be top class.
I'm very satisfied. I'm very satisfied with all the reinforcements we've made this summer. I think you kind of have to accept that players will leave, players you get attached to will leave in players like Sterling and Jesus. But we have brought in some absolute diamonds, some well-known diamonds and some undiscovered diamonds. And I want to talk to you just briefly about them because we've covered all these players a lot, but we've never got your thoughts on the channel. About we've got Calvin Phillips in. He's going to add reinforcements in that defensive midfield area. Rodri, you said it yourself. Players can't play 60 games a season. We've got two strikers in now, a position we've never had or we haven't had for 2 or 3 years. Alvarez is that diverse striker, can play on either wing as well. And then of course we have the big dog in Erling Haaland. How do you feel about the overall summer so far?
Very, very good. do think we're a little bit light, as I said earlier on in the video. I do think we're a bit light up top in the wing areas, especially on that right hand side. So I would like to see someone come in. Not necessarily has to play on the right if they come in on the left, because of course Phil Foden can obviously play on that right hand side. I just think we need one more winger to come in, and then get Cucurella. Obviously, we're selling Zinchenko. We need to replace him. Cucurella gets in, and I think it's been an absolutely brilliant window. I can't really ask for more. So yeah, I mean, top marks from the board. I've got to give it to them. They've absolutely smashed it this summer.
Do you think we're going to see a bit of a style change or a tactics change in City, bringing in this big dog striker and Haaland? Are we going to see a new formation possibly, or just a new overall way of playing, or is Pep going to tell Haaland to adapt more so to our style? I think it's an exciting one. It's one a lot of people are talking about. Expect.
Yeah, I've been thinking about this a lot, man. I think we will probably just start off with a 4-3-3 formation, which is we can sort of turn into a 4-5-1 depending on how you're playing and who's got the ball. But I think we'll probably play a similar way. But obviously, we need to get that ball into the box a lot quicker, and we need to transition up the pitch a lot quicker than we normally do. That's crucial. We are really slow on counter-attacks and build-up play for a reason, because we want to keep the ball. But I think when you have someone like Haaland and you've got the Kevin De Bruyne in behind who can put a ball wherever he wants it, I do think that we need to just pick up the pace a little bit in terms of our attacking speed. So yeah, I don't know, man. I think the season, as the season goes on, I think the style of play will start to develop. So it's going to be a really interesting one, man. I'm really looking forward to pre-season to see exactly how we do set up in pre-season. I know you can't always read too much into it, but I think you might get a few ideas of what Pep's thinking.
Yeah, I'd say he'll try out some new things. I'm not there. Haaland hasn't been pictured yet in training with City, and I'm wondering what that's about. Is he going to feature in the Club America game next week? But you're right. Pre-season's always a very exciting time because it is an opportunity to get a look at new ideas that Pep's thinking, maybe some new players. You might see some of the young lads. I know, I think Delap has gone out with them. I think Cole Palmer's definitely gone out with them, and a couple of others. So it's one to keep an eye on. But listen, that is our transfer roundup for the week. We wanted to talk about some of those Twitter sort of rumours and Blue Moon Forum sort of rumours and get Lewis's thoughts on the summer so far. Myself and Joe have talked about the incomings to a blue in the face. But listen, as fans, it's all very exciting. You know, it's what we want as football fans to be involved in. Plenty of incomings, plenty of outgoings, and feel your team and your club is progressing and moving forward. And I think we are. I think we've come on leaps and bounds. And some of the signings, particularly Haaland, is absolutely a statement and testament to that. But listen, Lewis, I'm sure we'll do plenty more. I hope we'll do plenty more videos. It's been an absolute pleasure having you on. I know you're a busy man and you have a tight schedule, so we do appreciate you giving us some of your time.
Yeah, no problem, bro. Yeah, link me up if you want me to come on again, bro. I enjoyed it, man.
We might have to make the Big LB show or something like that in the Age 94 E-Tech version of the Big Steve show. Who knows? But listen, thanks very much for coming on, man. We really appreciate it. All of you, if you aren't already, I'd be surprised if you aren't, but if you aren't, get over to City Extra and like all their stuff. Subscribe to them. They're on the road to 60k, I believe, at the minute. What a massive number that is. I remember when they were only on like 10k. It doesn't feel like that long ago. So get over there if you haven't done already and show them some love. Thank you all for watching. Leave a like on this video as well if you would. It helps us massively. We are on the road to 3k. That's our own personal goal to get there before the start of the season. So help us if you would. And we'll see you on Monday with a brand new video. Good night and God bless.